Hello and welcome back to our channel where we continue to peel back the layers of today's most perplexing mysteries. In past episodes, we've touched upon anomalies recorded in various corners of the globe, but what we're about to discuss today takes the conversation to an entirely new level. Forget everything you thought you knew about unidentified flying objects and distant signals from space. The internet is buzzing with discussions about a video that, if authentic, could forever change our perception of reality. The footage, allegedly filmed from the International Space Station, captures the moment something truly gigantic departs our planet, launching from the most enigmatic and isolated place on Earth: Antarctica. Most alarmingly, this event almost perfectly coincides with the flyby of a mysterious interstellar visitor, Object 3I Atlas. So, what was it? An incredible fake created by a master of computer graphics, or a chilling coincidence suggesting that we are not only not alone in the universe, but also on our own planet? Let's investigate together because the details of this incident are far stranger than they first appear. The events in question unfolded in the complete silence of the cosmic vacuum, but their echo reverberated across the world with deafening force. On the night of November 3rd, a short but shocking video began to circulate on obscure astronomy forums and in private chats among former aerospace industry employees. The sources claimed to have received it through secure channels from an insider close to a European flight control center, someone with access to raw data streams from the station. In this footage, we see a familiar scene for those who spend hours watching the ISS live feeds, a smooth and majestic pass over the night side of Earth. Below, an endless white canvas stretches out, the ice dome of Antarctica, faintly illuminated by the ghostly starlight and the thin, greenish ribbon of atmospheric airglow. A sense of absolute peace and serenity prevails, an impression of eternity and cosmic solitude. But suddenly, this idyllic scene is brutally shattered. From the depths of the icy continent, as if piercing the atmosphere from within, an astonishingly bright, elongated object erupts. It leaves a luminous trail, but this is not the fiery tail of a burning meteor. Its movement is strictly vertical, away from the planet, with clear persistence and purpose. It is rapid, almost instantaneous. Let's delve into the details that make this video so disturbing and unique. The recording, according to the source, was made using one of the high-resolution cameras from the high-definition Earth Viewing Complex, installed on the external platform of the Columbus module. This system is designed for capturing Earth in the highest quality, and its specifications are well known. The frame rate was 60 frames per second. The object appears in the frame, pierces the atmosphere, and vanishes from the camera's view in a matter of moments, appearing in no more than a few dozen frames. Simple trigonometric calculations based on this data, the station's orbital height of about 400 kilometers, roughly 250 miles, and the visible angular displacement yield absolutely fantastical figures. The velocity of this body as it exited the atmosphere could have reached 130,000 kilometers per hour, over 80,000 miles per hour. To put this into perspective, that is tens of times faster than the swiftest intercontinental ballistic missiles created by humanity. It's a speed that allows it to overcome Earth's gravitational well with an ease that suggests gravity barely exists. But even more astonishing are the estimated dimensions of this something. Based on its angular size in the video and the known distance to the surface, independent analysts who first studied the video concluded that the length of the visible part of the object ranges from 300 to 600 kilometers, approximately 185 to 370 miles. This isn't just a large object, it is a structure of planetary scale, comparable in size to major asteroids like Vesta or Pallas. No known natural phenomenon or human-made creation comes even close to this description. Immediately after the video's publication, the community split into two irreconcilable camps. The first to speak out, as expected, were the skeptics. Their primary and most logical argument is the possibility of a sophisticated forgery. Modern computer graphics and neural network technologies have reached a level that allows for the creation of incredibly realistic images, which at times even a trained eye cannot distinguish from reality. Any professional in the special effects industry with sufficient skill and a powerful render farm could have created such a clip. Skeptics rightly point out that no official space agency, be it NASA, Roscosmos, or the European Space Agency, has confirmed the authenticity of this footage. Furthermore, a check of the official online archives of ISS broadcasts for the specified time reveals a strange gap. At the very hour the event supposedly occurred, the transmission was interrupted. The official reason? Scheduled technical maintenance on the data relay satellite link. A convenient explanation, isn't it? Almost too convenient to be true. Video editing specialists also note some oddities, such as the color palette and brightness of the glow, which they argue do not quite match the parameters of the standard HDEV cameras, suggesting digital manipulation is possible. They propose it could be a simple reflection of light from a window or a complex optical artifact that occurred as the camera transitioned from day to night mode over the glittering ice of Antarctica. Such glares and flares have been the cause of strange object reports more than once, but if that's the case, why does this artifact have a clear trajectory and move at such an incredible speed? A reflection cannot move on its own, away from the station, obeying the laws of ballistics. But there is another camp, the proponents of the recording's authenticity, and their arguments are compelling. They draw attention to minute details that are exceedingly difficult to fake. For instance, the interaction of the object's luminous trail with the upper, rarefied layers of the atmosphere. A frame-by-frame analysis shows the glow slightly distorting and shimmering as it passes through the ionosphere, which indicates the object is truly there, at an altitude of tens of kilometers, and not an image superimposed on pre-existing video of Earth from space. Using multiple digital zooms and special filters, enthusiasts notice that the glow has a distinct, almost artificial structure. It doesn't blur chaotically as a plasma cloud or gas emission would, but maintains a stable, elongated shape with a clearly defined central axis that appears denser and brighter. This doesn't resemble a natural phenomenon, which always trends toward chaos and dispersion. This looks like the work of an engine. And that raises the ultimate question. If this is not a fake and not an optical illusion, then what is it? Initial hypotheses attempting to explain the phenomenon from a scientific standpoint collapsed one after another. The suggestion of a rare atmospheric event like a sprite, elf, or gigantic jet was almost immediately dismissed. Atmospheric physicists who study these amazing phenomena unanimously stated that sprites are of a completely different nature. They are large-scale but very short-lived cold plasma discharges in the mesosphere and thermosphere above powerful thunderstorm fronts. They are always directed upward from the clouds, but never leave the atmosphere and lack the kinetic energy to do so. Their duration is typically hundredths of a second, and their size does not exceed a few tens of kilometers. Here, however, we observe a colossal material object moving strictly vertically with the clear intent of leaving the planet. This completely contradicts everything science knows about high-altitude electrical discharges. Another theory suggested it could be a massive release of methane from beneath the ice sheet, which then ignited in the upper atmosphere. Theoretically, vast reserves of methane hydrate exist in Antarctica, but this hypothesis also fails to stand up to scrutiny. Such a large-scale event would require the release of millions of tons of gas, which would have been inevitably recorded by seismic stations worldwide as a powerful earthquake. Nothing of the sort was detected. Moreover, the combustion of methane in the rarefied atmosphere would look entirely different. Yet another hypothesis proposed it might be a plasma ejection caused by the interaction of Earth's magnetic field with the solar wind. Such a phenomenon is theoretically possible in the polar regions where the magnetic field lines extend into space. But here too, there are serious inconsistencies. First, according to data from all global heliophysical observatories, solar activity during those days was at a minimum. There were no powerful flares or coronal mass ejections capable of causing such a massive disturbance in Earth's magnetosphere. Second, auroras, the visible result of such interactions, look completely different. They are smooth, shimmering curtains of light spread over vast areas, not a sharply defined, focused object moving at supersonic speed on a straight trajectory. This hypothesis was also discarded. And here we arrive at the most intriguing and frightening aspect of this story, a coincidence that has shaken even the most hardened skeptics. The time the video appeared, the night of November 3rd, aligns almost to the minute with the calculated transit of an interstellar object through the inner part of our solar system, designated 3I/ATLAS. Let's clarify what this is. The I in its name stands for interstellar. It is only the third object in the history of astronomical observation proven to have come to us from another star system. Astronomers had been tracking this cosmic wanderer for some time. It captured their attention with its highly unusual behavior. Like its famous predecessor, the first interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, Object 3I/ATLAS, exhibited non-gravitational acceleration. In simpler terms, it changed its speed and trajectory as if it had its own engine, defying the laws of celestial mechanics. Scientists, including the renowned Harvard University professor Avi Loeb, tried to explain this with natural causes, such as the outgassing of invisible substances like hydrogen from its surface as it was heated by the sun. But spectral analysis showed no presence of these gases. The object behaved less like a comet or asteroid and more like a controlled craft. And so, according to the most precise calculations of its orbit, at the very same hours that the gigantic object launched from Antarctica, the trajectory of 3I Atlas was projected to be directly over Earth's southern polar region. A coincidence? Perhaps. But the probability of such a coincidence is infinitesimally small. Visualizations quickly appeared online where enthusiasts overlaid the supposed departure trajectory from Earth with the orbit of 3I/ATLAS. In some, the lines matched almost perfectly, as if one body was flying to meet the other, as if it were a long-planned rendezvous at a predetermined point in space. The thought is blood-chilling. Did we witness something that had been hiding on our planet, perhaps for millennia, finally leaving to join its interstellar visitor? Or perhaps 3I/ATLAS was merely a marker, a signal beacon that transmitted the command to launch. This version forces us to look at Antarctica itself in a new light. This continent has always been shrouded in a dense veil of mystery. Officially, it is considered uninhabited, a demilitarized zone dedicated entirely to international science. But rumors of strange happenings there have circulated for decades. Consider the famous 1947 US Navy expedition under the command of Admiral Richard Byrd, codenamed Operation High Jump. According to the official story, it was the largest scientific mission for mapping and testing equipment in polar conditions. But the expedition's composition, which included an aircraft carrier, 13 ships, and nearly 5,000 personnel, looked more like a military invasion. The mission, planned for 6 to 8 months, was abruptly terminated after just 8 weeks, with the fleet having suffered inexplicable losses of personnel and equipment. According to an unofficial version, leaked from the supposed diaries of the admiral himself, the Americans encountered an unknown force possessing disc-shaped aircraft capable of flying out from under the water at incredible speeds and delivering devastating attacks. Byrd allegedly reported a new threat emanating from the South Pole to Washington. Many consider these stories to be fiction, but what if there was a kernel of truth to them? And even before that, there was the German Antarctic expedition of 1938, which claimed a vast sector of the continent as its territory, naming it New Swabia. A persistent myth suggests that the Nazis discovered enormous warm caves there and built a secret underground base, Base 211. What if the technologies they found or created there outlived their masters and continued to develop in isolation all this time? What if, beneath the Antarctic ice, which is up to 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles, thick, something is hiding that we cannot even imagine? Modern science confirms that Antarctica is not just a lifeless block of ice. In recent decades, satellites equipped with ground-penetrating radar have detected powerful geomagnetic anomalies there. One of the largest is located near Lake Vostok, a gigantic subglacial lake that has been isolated from the outside world for millions of years. What could create such an anomaly? A massive iron deposit? Or something artificial, a huge metallic object resting at the bottom of the lake? What if this object was the very ship we saw in the video? Official authorities maintain a deathly silence. Not a single coherent comment, not one official denial on the substance of the matter. Attempts by journalists from major world publications to get clarification from NASA or the European Space Agency are met with standard bureaucratic replies stating they do not comment on unconfirmed data from dubious internet sources. But this silence seems extremely suspicious. If the video is a crude fake, what prevents them from coming forward and stating so, providing irrefutable proof? For example, by publishing the authentic, unprocessed recordings from the ISS cameras for that period so everyone could see that nothing of the sort occurred. But this isn't being done. Instead, we see the original video being methodically removed from major video hosting sites and social media under the pretext of copyright infringement, while forums are flooded with dozens of identical posts from anonymous experts ridiculing anyone who believes the recording is genuine. This looks very much like a coordinated campaign to control information. They aren't refuting it, they are simply trying to make us fall silent and forget. Interestingly, back in the mid-20th century, the so-called Brookings Report was commissioned by NASA. It analyzed the potential consequences of contact with an extraterrestrial civilization. One of its conclusions stated that the discovery of artifacts or evidence of their presence on Earth could lead to global social chaos, the collapse of religions and social institutions. Perhaps those in power are guided by this very logic, preferring to hide the truth to preserve the world as we know it. So, what are we left with? On one hand, we have a short video of questionable origin that could be a brilliant hoax created to attract attention. On the other hand, we have a series of unexplained facts and disturbing coincidences that form a far too consistent and frightening picture. The incredible speed and gigantic size of the object, which fit no known scientific model. The almost perfect alignment of time and place with the flyby of the mysterious interstellar object 3/ATLAS, which is an anomaly in itself. The complete and suspicious silence from all official bodies, which suggests a global cover-up of the truth. And all this is set against the backdrop of the most mysterious and least studied place on the planet, Antarctica, whose history is filled with blank spots, military secrets, and strange events. We have always looked to the skies for proof of extraterrestrial life. We sent radio signals into deep space, hoping anxiously for a reply. We built giant telescopes to see tiny points of light near distant stars. But what if, all this time, we were looking in the wrong place entirely? What if they weren't planning on coming to us from other stars because they were already here? Hiding deep beneath the ice or at the bottom of oceanic trenches, watching us, studying us, perhaps throughout all of human history. And now, for reasons unknown to us, they have decided it is time to leave. The video that appeared on November 3rd may be the first and only proof of this grand exodus. Whether it's a fake or not is for you to decide. But the facts we've laid out today demand serious consideration. That's all for today. Thank you for watching this episode all the way to the end. Your support is very important to us, so don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next, equally intriguing investigations. And now, the main question for you, our viewers. What, in your opinion, did we see in this footage? A clever fake, an unknown natural phenomenon, or the actual launch of a giant ship from the icy depths of Antarctica heading for a rendezvous with its interstellar brethren? Write your boldest, even your most outlandish theories in the comments below this video. We'll be very interested to read and discuss them. Until next time.